feel that way. Have you ever paid for a guy?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Tell us about that story. What did you pay for?
Well, I remember once, like, it was like when I was in first year of uni, like I went on like a date with a guy that just spoke to me online. I think he met me through a mutual friend.
Yep.
And he came up with, I'm a vegetarian,
Okay.
if you should know. So he took me to Leicester Square and he took me to Burger King and he brought out the vouchers, the $1.99 ones, and it was only chicken and beef in there.
Oh,
and he looked at
yes.
me and he was like, you can have the fries. So I looked at him and I just said, don't worry, I'll just pay for both our meals. So I kind of just paid because I can't be starving and you can't bring out a $1.99 voucher on a first date. That's just, and you know I'm vegetarian beforehand because we've been talking for a week and he knows that. So it's like, why are you offering me chicken or fish when I told you I'm not pescatarian? I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Wow. Has a guy ever refused and been like, no, I have to pay?
Not really, because when I kind of explain to them that their money is their own and I feel guilty for taking it, they kind of see it in a different way.
They're like, oh yeah, no, actually, yeah, that's right. It is my money.
Yeah. And they just say, that's really sweet. I understand where you're coming from kind of thing. So they do get it.
Yeah, of course. And then how, for you, is there any element of, do you feel like you have to then treat them on the next day, or is it still kind of very much
well,
equal,
if we go 50-50, the
Well,
next date, usually I'll be like, oh, if you get this one, I'll get the one after this. Then that insinuates a third date as well. So it kind of keeps like the bond going. And then you also see them more often. It's a lot nicer. Yeah,
100%. I guess, some people might ask, what happens, if you want kids and then you're pregnant, you take time off work. In that sense, a guy's probably gonna cover for you. Like, obviously, in that sense, you'd be like,
yeah,
okay
if you're a mother, of course, because then he fulfills the role of a provider, isn't it? And that's what people are usually taught when you have a husband. He's like your provider.
Yeah.
But that's a different scenario, I think, from boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're both very much invested in each other at that point. Would you ever be the provider in your relationship?
I would love to. I've said this. So I've actually said this to my boyfriend, like, I want him to stay at home and look after the kids and I want to bring home the money.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I would love a house husband.
You are like, I think you're the first girl I've ever met who has said that I've been like,
really? I'm 100%.
Really? So you want a stay-at-home husband?
Yeah, I would love that because then he can clean my house for me. He can cook some nice meals for me. And all I have to do is go to work, bring the money home, maybe buy him some nice little things. Kids are taken care of and I'm just chilling.
I'm actually speechless. And the reason I'm speechless is because I've seen the odd girl online say that they want this, but for you to be like, yeah, like everything you just said, that's like a guy's, I'll say dream.
Not really, because some guys have that superiority complex where they want to be that working man, and they don't want the woman to be the working woman.
But is it that they want to be the working man, or is it that he wants to be in the position of leadership?
Yeah, like to control the girl as well in a way, so he can control like the funds and what's going in and out of the house, like funds and stuff like that.
What's the difference between controlling and just being the leader?
Well, with controlling, I guess it's like sometimes guys will tell you it's okay for a girl to quit her job and be a housewife.
Yeah.
I find that in a way like the girl is getting trapped. Because because all she's going to do now is she's going to rely on his money. He's going to be giving her pocket money because she has no other form of income coming in. She's giving it up to stay at home now.
Sure.
She has to look after the house. She has to wait for the husband to come home and stuff like that. So she's basically going around his timing instead of her timing. Do you get me?
When you say she has to wait for him to come home, what do you mean? Why would she have to wait before she can go out herself?
Yeah.
No.
Because a lot of men, they would like expect to be home before their wife then goes back out, especially in the Asian household. Yeah.
Okay, so I get that. I mean, like, so let's say the husband, let's say he comes home at 6 p.m, right? She has the whole day to do what she wants.
No, but then she'll have to cook for him, have dinner ready for him, stuff like that.
But that's basically what you asked for, no?
What, with the guy?
Yeah, well, you said you'd rather be the provider, right?
Yeah, but I would not want him to have dinner ready. Like, if he wants to cook, he can cook, but I can order takeaway. I'm calm.
So do you think if you have a stay-at-home husband and when you come home, he hasn't done anything, you'd be okay with that?
Well, I'd want him to reflect on himself in that case and like look in the mirror and be like, who are you as a person? Like, what are you doing with life? Are you proud of yourself? Mm-hmm. And like, if he can answer like, yes, I am, then I'll be like, okay, go ahead, do what you want. But sometimes people have that inkling in their mind where they're like, yeah, I am being a bit of a bum. Yeah. So yeah, no one wants to be a bum.
Why do you think, because I completely get you and I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate, why do you see if a woman is a stay-at-home wife, for example, right, where the man's working and she has the luxury of time to do what she wants, why do you see it as that's her being trapped, but then if you have a stay-at-home husband, that's not him being
Because
trapped?
a man is physically more powerful than a woman as it is.
Sure.
So if a woman is like at home and the guy's telling her, you have to do this, like you have to like make sure you cook for me or make sure the house is clean, this and that, she'll feel very like cornered in a way. Like, do you get me? She feels like she can't overpower him.
Sure.
Whereas if a man is at home, he knows he can still overpower the girl because he's got that strength and that mental stability a bit more.
I get that. And that is true. Guys can have a level of physical dominance. Do you think that in the eyes of society, though, when it comes to laws and governments, especially when it comes to domestic abuse, do you think that if a man and woman made a claim, do you think people are more likely to take her side or his side?
Definitely the girls. They will never believe the guy.
100%.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say, even though physically he may be more dominant in terms of the environment that they're in, society, by law, by society, and by, you know, socially, she actually has more dominance and power in that sense?
Not really, because a girl will never speak bad about her husband or her man, especially if she's living with them like that. She wouldn't want to paint a negative image of him out in the world. It's weird. They always want to keep their respect. It will be like last to last resort when she will actually then be like, tell someone else and like get the authorities involved.
Yeah.
She would want to keep his respect as long as she can, and she'll keep pushing till she reaches that little peak or that breaking point.
I think that's fair. I would think the point that she decides she's going to leave the relationship, of course. It does sound that you don't trust a guy who would do that for you where you don't feel trapped.
Yeah. Because I've
fair to say?
I've seen it happen with a lot of my friends and people I personally know and like don't even personally know. I've seen it literally happen to like almost every girl that has been in that kind of situation where she's lived with the partner and then we don't see the girl anymore, like in our friend groups. She's always at home with him. She's waiting on him, hand on heart kind of thing. And when we ask her, like, she says that she wants to do it willingly, but sometimes she's still a bit miserable and bored.
So you don't believe her?
No, not entirely. I know there is a level of truth to it, but not entirely. I know there's a part of her that is just staying there to keep him happy.
Why don't you believe her when she tells you
that she doesn't want to come out and she wants to just stay at home?
Well, yeah, because, you know, like, for example, one thing that happens, so when people are single, right, they tend to go out a lot more. When they get into a relationship, you know, your friend's like, hey, do you want to come out to this nightclub?
But why
or whatever?
Is that?
Because generally people tend to, there's an aspect of going out a lot of the time where a lot of the attraction for going out is the potential of meeting someone new. When you're not in a place where you're open to meeting someone because you have your partner, it's like, okay, would I rather dress up, pay to go to this club, stand in a sweaty club, stickiness, whatever, maybe people hitting me that I'm not interested in. Yeah, I can have fun with my girls, or I can catch up with my girls another time where we go for like lunch together and I can spend the evening with my partner who I actually want to spend time with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's okay like in certain situations, but sometimes there'll be certain girls that will just not go out to see their friends no matter what motive or like event I plan. That girl will always say to me like, I can't go right now. I'm not free on this day. I'm not free on that day. And she'll always flake just to be with her partner because he doesn't want her to be in environments like that. You know, when you have a group of single girl mates and you're the only one in a relationship, your partner does not like it when you go out with your single girl mates.
I completely get that. But then this pertains to what I said, that she may not go out to the nightclub or to the festival or to the party where people are getting drunk and taking drugs. But if you're like, hey, I'm having lunch around mine, why would she would come to that?
No, but sometimes she won't. She'll even be like, oh, but this time doesn't work for me because he comes back from work at this time and I have to make sure I have to cook for him. Things like that.
It's interesting because I get what you're saying. And I'm not saying it's not okay for anyone to control anyone. But I think that if she is deciding to do things that serve her relationship, which is what makes her happy, the same with a guy. Like, I'll be honest, guys do be like, I can't do this because, you know, I said I'm going to be there for her for this. Or I can't do this because I know if I don't come back from work and I'm not coming back till 10 p.m., the missus is going to kick off. Right? So I think both people do that in ways that they try to serve the relationship. So if she says she wasn't happy and she's like, like I'd want to, but he's not going to let me, that's different. But if she's like, hey, like I just can't make it because I'm going to dedicate this time to the time that we have together, especially if he works all the time, that's the only time he's free. It's like, well, if quality time is important to her, then maybe she might prioritize that and catch up with her friends another time.
Yeah, or sometimes things happen as such as we basically plan an event on a certain day and then her partner's suddenly free from work that day. So she'll prioritize her partner over us, knowing that we've made plans with her like weeks in advance.
100%.
There's also stuff like that that does make it seem a bit like, who are you giving more importance to right now?
And that is 100% completely valid. But then what I'm trying to say is maybe that's a reflection on how much she's willing to invest in the friendship group, not a reflection of how controlling he is.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't people who aren't controlling.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens all the time. You have that single friend who's been single for years, right? And they're out with you, everything, and then they get into a relationship, but you just don't hear from them.
Yeah.
You're just like, I just don't see you anymore since you had this relationship. It's because they're like, this is the thing I've always wanted and I've got my person, and do you know what I mean?
But then at the end of the day, if that relationship doesn't work out, who are you going to fall back on? Your
very
friends that were always there. And if you're not there for them when they need you, you'll be left all alone in the world. So you're putting all your eggs in one basket, not knowing if this will 100% work out or not.
I get that. But my question to that then, if her friends are genuinely her friends and her friends understand, okay, her dedicating more time to this building this relationship is what's making her happy, wouldn't a good friend be like, I love you, I support you, I'll still invite you to things, I still want to see you, but you come as and when, and I'm still here for you? Wouldn't a good friend support her in doing what she wants? Because if she decides to move to another country, she's like, well, you're moving to outside of the world, so fuck you, bitch. Like, you missed out on this friendship. You wouldn't do that, would you?
No, but then if the friend said the same thing to her,
said what?
Like, oh, like, I can't make this more of a like, I'll see you when I can kind of thing, even though she's not got a man, but she's just dating random people, then would her friend not feel some type of way as well, who's got the partner, thinking, why has my friend lodged me now? She
might, but I think there's less... I think it's very different if you're parting your friend off for like a first date with a guy that you've been talking to for a week. And then if you're not going to a friend's event because you're dedicating that time to the person who's potentially going to be the rest of your life, right? Who you're in a relationship with.
But then you see them more often than you see your friends anyway. So why can't you still devote a little bit of time to them?
I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think people should. I'm just saying that it's not... It may be to do with the person, not the relationship.
Yeah,
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.